Next, from Springfield, we head to Governor's Day at the Illinois State Fair and hear from several speakers, including U.S. Representatives Darren LaHood and Rodney Davis and State Senate Minority Leader Christine Radogno. This runs about 30 minutes.
Well, thank you, Chairman Schneider, and it's great to be here today with all of my fellow Republicans. Congratulations on a great Republican Day, and welcome to Springfield. I'm fortunate to represent all our parts in 19 counties in central and west central Illinois, and Sangamon County is one of those. And last year I was at this podium as a candidate, and it's much better to be here today as an elected member of Congress representing the 18th Congressional District. And I want to thank many people on the lawn here today for their help in doing that. I'm proud to be part of this congressional delegation. I'm proud to be a Republican. When I ran, I talked about the issues that were important to me: fiscal responsibility, smaller government, ethics and transparency, term limits for legislators in Springfield and in Washington, D.C. Those are the issues that I care greatly about. I also talked about staying grounded to the district, not remembering who you work for. When I'm back home, I call it real America. Real America is right here. And taking back those values to Washington, D.C. and reflecting those is something that I've tried to do since being there. People ask me all the time, well, what's it like? How do you like it? You know, what's the experience? I said, my wife and I have 3 sons, and I've coached them in basketball the last 8 years. And so I've coached a lot of 3rd and 4th graders. I said, if you can deal with 3rd and 4th graders, you can deal with Democrats in Washington, D.C., and I've tried to do that there. But it's an honor to be there. It really is, and a privilege. And let me just say something about our state of Illinois. I'm proud to be from Illinois, and I'm proud to support Governor Bruce Rauner and what he's doing here in Illinois. I served in the Illinois State Senate, was proud to do that, and I know what he's trying to do there. He ran on fixing Illinois. That's what he's doing. And I'm going to continue to help him and advocate. The analogy I use all the time is when the foundation of your house is falling apart and crumbling, you don't put on a new 3rd floor or a new 4th floor. That's what the Democrats want to do. We need the governor to come in there and fix it, and that's what he's doing. Illinois is like an island in the Midwest. Every other state around us has made those changes. Indiana, Iowa, Wisconsin, Missouri, all have Republican governors, but they don't have a Republican legislature. We are 5 or 6 seats away from changing Illinois. And Bruce Rauner is at the forefront. We have to support him. I'm going to do that between now and November to change Illinois. We need change here all the time, and I'm going to work hard to do that. So thank you, Governor Rauner. And last thing I just want to say is it is an absolute honor and privilege to represent you. I look forward to continue to express your values in Washington, D.C. and work hard there to change the direction of the country here locally, at the state level, and the national level. Now, it is my pleasure to introduce one of my colleagues in the Illinois Congressional delegation. Coming in brand new to Congress is a little unique. It's not like a regular election, and so I had to rely on our Illinois delegation. And they have been absolutely wonderful, from Congressman Shimkus, Congressman Kinzinger, Congressman Bost, our congressman from the north, and also our next guest, Congressman Rodney Davis. Now, there are a lot of things that I could say about Rodney Davis and the attributes he has. He's a great congressman. He's a wonderful dad and father to Shannon and the kids. He's a great advocate for our Republican principles. But one thing that I found in being in D.C., one thing that people don't know about, he's a hell of a baseball catcher. So we played the Democrats this year in Nats Field. We haven't won in 8 years. The starting catcher for all 7 innings was Rodney Davis. Now, a pitch didn't get past him. We won for the first time in 8 years today because of Rodney Davis. He's the leader of our team. Please give a warm welcome, Congressman Rodney Davis.
Hey, give it up for Darren LaHood. He's doing a great job in Washington, D.C. You know, I'm proud to come here to the fairgrounds every year and be right in the middle of Sangamon County, knowing that I get a chance to serve this great county and this strong Republican Party in Sangamon County with somebody like Darren LaHood. Give Sangamon County Republicans a round of applause. Senator Kirk is right over here. And let me tell you something. I have not met anyone more courageous to go through what he has had to go through to recover and to still be one of the great leaders that we see in our nation in the U.S. Senate. Senator Kirk, thank you for your leadership. We were talking a few minutes ago. He was talking about going to eat some very interesting food here at the State Fair. And yesterday when I was here, I saw a sign for Cricket Pizza. Now make sure Kirk's taking the challenge to eat that Cricket Pizza after we leave here, right? You gonna eat it? He's in. Anybody else tried it? Yeah, me neither. Listen, we're here on Governor's Day because Republicans won the last election. Governor's Day is a lot better than the Thursday because it shows that we've got the Republican Party that is strong in this state and that we've got somebody like Bruce Rauner in the governor's mansion. Isn't that great? Bruce Rauner has shown in the last 2 years that he is not going to be bullied by anyone, especially Mike Madigan, the chairman of the Illinois Democrat Party. As we look ahead to the next election, because this election is going to be over before we know it, and we're going to be standing back here next year on Governor's Day. And it's going to be because of each of you that we stand here for future years on Governor Day, because we're going to make sure Bruce Rauner wins. And I got to say something. I got asked by a reporter earlier about one of my constituents, Senator Durbin, wanting to run for governor. Anybody here want that? How can a guy who got elected to go to Washington when I was 12 and in the 5th grade, who's watched this country's debt explode to $19 trillion, think that he can fix the problems here in Springfield? Anybody think that can happen? Are we going to elect Bruce Rauner again? All right. Speaking of courage, I get to introduce the next guy. This next guy, my colleague, had the courage to run against Dick Durbin for the U.S. House of Representatives in 1992. That's where I met him. A lot of people said, oh, you shouldn't do that. But you know what? It takes people like John Shimkus with courage to be able to take on the challenges that might not work out the first time, but also meet each and every one of you and turn that into a career of showing everyone else what courage means and what leadership means. There's no better epitome of courage and leadership in our congressional delegation than the old guy, the dean, my friend, your friend, John Shimkus. Come on up here.
Let me tell you what takes courage. What takes courage is hiring Rodney Davis as a staff assistant. That's what takes courage. No, thank you for being here. I am the dean of the Republican delegation. I really couldn't be prouder of my colleagues. And you saw two of the bright, shining stars and the future of our party just talk to you here, and they're locally. But you can go to Bob Dole up north. You could go to Adam Kinzinger. You can go to a lot of our colleagues who are working hard on your behalf in Washington. And you should be very, very proud of them and weigh in. I want to also weigh in on the governor, too. Folks, we have obviously a huge debt problem in this state. And you know what? You know how you can get away from that debt problem? You could move. And then you could put that burden on everybody else who can't move and has to stay. A lot of them in rural America, a lot in the 33 counties that I represent. Governor Rauner could have moved. He could have said, the heck with the state of Illinois, I'm leaving. Like a lot of companies and businesses has. But he has put his personal honor, integrity, his personal fortune trying to fix our state. And because of that, we need to be all in. And the way we do that in this cycle is get behind our state reps and our state senators who will help him build that supporting role so that we can take this fight to the Democratic majority and we can turn this state around. I campaigned for him when he ran. I'm working for him now, and I'm going to help him get reelected 2 years from now. And I'm a big believer, and we've got to be all on board. So Republicans believe in this. We believe in less government, individual responsibility, lower taxes, more personal freedoms and liberties. The Democrats are the big government party that wants to take your earnings. They want to be able to control your destiny and tell you where to go, when to go, how to go, and who to do it with. That's not what this government was founded upon. We need everybody to get their shoulders to the wheel in this cycle. We can do it. God bless you all. God bless the United States, and thank you very much.
All right, let's hear it again for our congressional delegation. Come on, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, now I have the honor to introduce our United States Senator, Mark Kirk. This Senate race, let's hear it for him. Come on, let's go. This Senate race will be the top race in the entire nation. Illinois will determine if the Senate stays in Republican control or not. This race could determine the balance of the Supreme Court. Time and again, Mark Kirk has won when the pundits said he couldn't win. We all know that Senator Kirk tragically suffered a stroke, but his recovery has been an inspiration to me and an inspiration to all of you, I'm sure. In what is shaping up to be a national security election, Mark Kirk is a national security hawk and a strong fiscal conservative. His opponent, Tammy Duckworth, agrees with Nancy Pelosi 97% of the time. She wants to allow 200,000 Syrian refugees into the state. That's double what even Barack Obama would bring in. And now, just like her mentor, Rod Blagojevich, she's been mired in scandal for silencing whistleblowers at the VA. Illinois simply can't afford another scandal-plagued Chicago Democrat representing us. We need Mark Kirk. Ladies and gentlemen, United States Senator Mark Kirk.
Hey, guys. All right. Sure can. You guys want to hear something good about Illinois that you decided to raise your kids in? Question. A lot of times when I ask this question, people look at their shoes. Where was the cell phone invented? It was invented by Martin Cooper from Winnetka, Illinois, who was working for Motorola. This is my iPhone, the most iconic product of the 21st century. 76 million manufactured and sold by a company in California called Apple that is now worth the entire GDP of Sweden. In this, when you look at this Apple phone, at the top end of the phone is the telephone transmitter that was perfected in Illinois. And when you look at the key browser here, that was invented by Mark Andreessen with Netscape in Champaign, Illinois. And when people from other states laugh at you because you were from this state, remind them that this state, this phone here, has roots in Illinois as deep as Abraham Lincoln. And that's the creativity of the state. A lot of times when I give this talk, I say that if it wasn't for Illinois, you would have a lot of friends missing teeth and living in dirty houses. And the reason why I say that is because we invented modern dentistry, G.V. Black in Jacksonville. The whole idea about drilling out a cavity and putting a silver amalgam on top is an Illinois idea. There's a reason why the American Dental Association is based right here in the state, because we invented it. And my vision for the state is to make sure that level of creativity, the people who invent, and you know, I hear the voice of Peoria there, people saying, hey, we invented the electric blanket, which they did. The zipper and the vacuum cleaner all invented right here. And when somebody tries to tell you that Monopoly was invented in Atlantic City, no, it was invented in DeKalb, Illinois. That level of creativity is the real spirit of the people of Illinois. When I was recovering from my stroke, I was thinking about very much how I could lift up the spirit of the state using the bully pulpit as a United States Senator. And I wanted to research our economic history to prove to you that we are not victims, we are victors. The creativity of this state is unbelievable. Right in the center of the Midwestern market, We can serve the entire North American market better than anybody. If you want to be closer to your customers in Illinois, then you got to come here. When we got Boeing to move to Chicago, they left Seattle because they were so tired of changing planes. When you move to Illinois, you can fly to more direct locations in North America than you're closer to your customers than anywhere else. Want to make sure we emphasize those points and pick up our spirit as citizens of the land of Lincoln, and make sure that you know that we are victors, not victims. Thanks, everybody.
Mark Kirk, it was great to see you. And Mark, thank you for your service to Illinois, but more importantly, thank you for your service to the United States of America. He's a great American, and folks, let's make sure that he gets sent back to Washington. We had a great meeting this morning with our county chairman, and you can never thank our county chairman and our precinct committeemen enough. So I just want to say thank you for what you do year in and year out for us. I know sometimes it's a thankless position, but we appreciate it. I appreciate it. Now, folks, every year I come down here, and, it's been nice. It's Governor's Day. I've been coming to Republican days for years. This is a lot better. As I said this morning, when you go to Governor's Day, the food tastes a little bit better. People are a little more pleasant. I think attitudes are better. But one thing that I remember from all these Republican days is that smell, that distinctive smell that I get from the state fair, from those stalls over there. And I caught a little whiff of it when I was coming in. But you know what? That smell isn't coming from the stalls. It's coming from the Democrats rehearsing from tomorrow. But folks, it's an honor to serve the state and also to serve as a House Republican leader. I stand with 46 men and women who have taken on the most noblest of causes, and that's to fix Illinois. And folks, the battle's here. But thank you. Where's Governor Rauner? Governor Rauner, thank you for your determined and unflinching leadership. And thank you for disrupting the status quo that the Illinois Democrats have savored for decades. Thank you, Governor. Governor, thank you for demanding reforms that will put Illinoisans back to work and make Illinois more competitive. But let me ask you this. The Democrats' response to these proposals are, oh boy, you guys are extreme, you're out of touch. But here's why. The Democrats say that because they are used to business as usual. And trust me, they're the ones who understand extreme. They wrote it. You look up extreme in the dictionary, you'll see the Illinois Democratic Party. They know it better than anybody. They're the ones who are extreme. Now, the House Republicans we're in the minority. They call us the super minority. But by all measures, the Democrats should be able to pass whatever they want. And if the governor vetoes any legislation, they should override them when they want. Well, here's what we did in the House. In the House of Representatives, not once, not twice, but not 4 or 5 times, but 69 times, we stopped the Democrats from overriding the governor on horrible pieces of legislation which would have destroyed our economy, destroyed the infrastructure of this state. Thank you, House Republican members, for that. Now, folks, we have held together in some tough situations, but I want to say this, that our caucus is united, and that's extremely important. We know what's at stake, but we are not going to break. And, Governor, we've got your back, Governor. We got your back in the House. Now, between now and Election Day, we're going to hear a lot about the Democrats stating that Republicans are out of touch and worse, that we're against the middle class. We hear this all the time. And yeah, but you know what? The election in November is going to be about the middle class. Let me tell you a little bit about this. The Democrats talk about the middle class and they need to protect them. Well, I tell you what, they are suffering the worst case of amnesia in state history. Now, take this into account. From 2003, when Blagojevich got elected, until Governor Rauner was elected, the Democrats had the mansion, they had both the House and the Senate, and what do they got to show for it? Now, in 2000, Illinois had 920,000 manufacturing jobs. This past June, we're down to 573,000. More than 300,000 losses of manufacturing jobs, down 40%. Most of those jobs left under the Democrat control over those 12 years. I don't think that's real good for the middle class. In 2002, our public pension systems were at about 20%, $20 billion underfunded. Not good, but we can work on it. Since the Democrats took control, our public pension systems are now at $111 billion underfunded. Does that help the middle class? I don't think it does. I can go on and talk about the problems that we have in Illinois, about residents and businesses leaving, and all the policies, the terrible policies that the Democrats have thrust upon every Illinoisan and every small businessman in the state of Illinois, but time clearly does not permit me to do that. But really, Democrats, after your past performance over the past 12 years, can anyone, particularly the middle class, trust you again? I don't think so. So folks, don't buy their statements when you hear this between now and Election Day that they're the sole protectors of the middle class from the Republicans. But here's some candid advice, unsolicited advice I have for the Illinois Democrats, is that before you claim ownership of the middle class, you need to apologize to them for what you've done to them for the past decade. Apologize to them. It's wrong what they've done to our great state, the state that I love, the one that you were all raised in. The middle class benefits when jobs stay here and when new jobs are created, when competition returns. That's not extreme. That's what governor wants, and that's what the governor is going to get. We're going to support the middle class. We're going to make the middle class better. We're going to help the middle class by doing that. We're not going to drive them down like the Democrats have done over the past decade. So, folks, there's a lot at stake. It's hot. I'm Irish. I get a sunburn in the basement of my house, so I'm going to finish up right now. But thank you so much for this opportunity. But more importantly, I want to thank the 46 members that serve with me in this great partnership we have in the Illinois House of Representatives. They've been outstanding men and women, as I said earlier, are fighting for the most noblest of causes, and that's to make Illinois better for you, your children, and your grandchildren. Thank you so much. I now have the great pleasure of introducing my senator, who's doing a fantastic job, and we are working day and night to beat the Democrats, stopping them in the House of Representatives in Illinois State Senate. She's doing a great job. She's a great leader. Senator Chris Radogno. Chris?
Thank you. Well, I hope this isn't my biggest applause line, but I'm going to be brief. It's hot out there. Thanks. A lot has been said about the condition of the state. I just want to focus for 1 minute on each and every one of you and your role in this year's election. This year is about change. We saw that in the presidential primaries on both sides. People want change. We did it when we elected Bruce Rauner. People want change. And Bruce is doing a fabulous job leading us in that regard. Now, here's the part where all of you come in. People think about change for the president. We got change at the governor's level. We need you to engage to make sure that change happens all the way down the ballot. So if you find someone who loves Trump, great. Go out there and tell him to vote for Trump and vote for everyone down the ticket. Don't stop with that vote. Now, if you find someone that says, Trump, no way, you tell them, go out there and look at everybody else down the ballot, because those are very important races. We need Mark Kirk. We cannot lose the Senate. If you don't agree with them 100%, look how much you agree with Tammy Duckworth. We need to get Mark back in. Our congressmen are doing a great job. And then we need to support our governor. And the way you do that is don't let people not vote for their state senators and state reps. Despite the challenges we have with the map, we can win some races this year, but only if we get our people out there. And speaking of change, I now get to introduce one of the other very, very key races that we have, and that is for our comptroller. This is a lady who has impressed people across the state with her ability to articulate in ways that people can understand and appreciate the severe challenges facing this state. She is a race we absolutely have to get people down the ballot to vote for. She's a wonderful person. I've gotten to know her. I call her a friend. And with that, let me introduce Leslie Munger.
Well, hello, Illinois Republicans. Thank you for being here and for supporting our party. My husband, John, and I have been precinct committeemen in our state for more than 7 years, long before I was ever in elected office. So we know firsthand how important your work is, and I just want to thank you all for all you do to help us. Now, as many of you know, before I was your comptroller, I spent my career in the private sector. I led an $800 million business for Helene Curtis in brands you probably used in your own home, Suave shampoo, Degree antiperspirant. My job at Helene Curtis depended on meeting our financial goals and delivering our bottom line. And that always started with an annual budget. So imagine my shock after agreeing to serve as your comptroller to be running the finances in a state where it's normal to spend more money than we bring in, and where we don't have a budget, actually haven't had one for most of my time in office at all, because the Democrats refuse to pass one. Now, as a comptroller, I get phone calls every day from organizations and businesses all around our state asking when they're going to get paid. These are organizations that serve our most vulnerable, our sick, elderly, children, developmentally disabled. They are the doctors who have built their practices over decades caring for our state employees, and small businesses that serve our state. All of these organizations are now struggling because our state is months, and in some cases years, behind in paying them for their work. This is no way to run a state. And in fact, it's really just plain wrong. And because it is so wrong, this past spring, I directed my staff to treat the pay for elected officials like all other state payments, putting our paychecks in line with the rest of the state's bills. Because if small businesses, nonprofits, schools, hospitals, and others have to wait months for payment, we should all wait. And those of us who are sent to serve should not be put before those whose tax dollars pay our salaries. So as of today, all constitutional officers, including myself, and the 177 members of the General Assembly, now wait in line for our pay like everyone else. And I'll tell you, I've heard a lot of complaints about this, and I'm probably never going to win a popularity contest among the legislators in Springfield. But you know, that's okay. I'm okay with that, because it's the right thing to do. But I'm not stopping with this, because there's more I can do. And so today, I'm introducing legislation, which I am calling No Budget, No Pay. Here's the way it works. If the General Assembly and the governor can't agree and pass a budget, then they don't get paid. It's just that simple. No retroactive pay either. The longer it takes for them to pass a budget, the longer we wait for them to get their jobs done, the more pay they lose. And let's be clear, it must be a balanced, full-year budget. Now, do you know any employer that would continue to pay someone for not doing their job? I sure don't. Why should Illinois taxpayers settle for anything less? No budget, no pay. This is the right thing to do. Now, as you probably know, I'm on the ballot this November. The Democrats passed legislation to make me run in a special election for the remaining 2 years of my term. Now, mind you, they can't get a budget passed in Springfield, but somehow they found time to get this one passed. And they did it because they think a Republican cannot win in Illinois during a presidential year. Well, they have a surprise coming, because even though I'm the incumbent in this race, I'm the newcomer to state government. My opponent spent her entire adult life on the city of Chicago and state of Illinois payrolls. She has voted for every one of Speaker Madigan's unbalanced budgets. She's voted for every tax increase, every pension holiday, and all of the borrowing that have created the mess that we are in today. She calls Speaker Madigan her mentor, and she tweeted Rahm Love when she led the Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel's re-election campaign. She's used the Chicago machine to jump from office to office, and now she wants to use them again because she cannot run on her record. You know, she's going to be speaking here at the fair tomorrow. Listen carefully, if you're here, to what she says. She's running to be our state's chief fiscal officer. and yet she will talk about anyone and anything other than the real solutions for our state moving forward. So we have to ask ourselves, what's her deal? Maybe she's not so good at math. Maybe she doesn't understand what the comptroller's office actually does. Or maybe she wants to avoid scrutiny of her own record during her 10 years in the Illinois House as a state representative. But whatever the reason, does anyone think it would be a good idea to give her control of our state's checkbook? No! So today, let's say enough. Enough! Let me hear you say that. Enough! We've had enough deals. We've had enough pay to play. We've had enough of the Chicago way and enough of the politics. Let's give Susana Mendoza and her supporters a wake-up call. No more deals. No more politicians who put themselves first. Illinoisans have had enough. I'm proud of my record. I'm standing for you. I refused my state pension. I'm working every day to lead real solutions to our financial problems. I'm keeping my promises to help our most vulnerable. I'm putting the people of Illinois first. And with your help, we will win in November. And we will get our state back on a strong track and make life better for all Illinoisans. So thank you for all you do. God bless you, and God bless Illinois.